However, Todd, this is going to be good because you're mentioned in this story, but it's all good. However, I couldn't hold on, right? So my idea was, okay, you know how many employees you have to hire to get 28 really, really great ones? Hundreds, right? So the 28 employees that I had were like the best of the best in the business. They were the best framers. They were the best finish carpenters, right? And I had them on my crew, okay? And then the market started doing this. And I thought, no big deal. I still have about $3.8 million in contracts lined up for the next year and a half. Except, what happens? You guys are in a market right now where interest rates are climbing. So how many rescissions are you seeing on contracts? Right? It's happening a lot right now, okay? Well, the same thing happened for me in 2007, 2008, is all of a sudden, jobs that I had lined up, things that I had scheduled, jobs that I'd had purchased materials for, disappeared. Then, one after another, what started happening is jobs that I was underway, right? Maybe I had one job that I was doing a $380,000 addition. Now, that's not that big of a deal now, but back in 2006, 2007, that was a big addition, right? Refused to pay the last $60,000 of the bill. I had several that went like that. So I burned through about $400,000 of my own cash trying to keep afloat, right? And then what happens is you start making, you remember how we start talking about disempowered state or stressful state versus a grateful state? What state do you think I was in making a lot of decisions? Stressful, anxious, frustrated, right? Well, that's what happened. So I started doing things like I would take a job and I would be the cheapest bidder with the hopes of at least just keeping my crews busy, right? In other words, there was no profit in it or very, very little, but I thought the idea of just keep the cash flow coming so I can keep my crews busy, right? So I very quickly burned through about $400,000 in capital, and it just got to the point where I could not keep income with substantially less than expenses, okay? Ultimately, what I had to do is I had to file for bankruptcy. My accountant, my insurance agent, and my attorney were both like, look, you've got the best intentions in terms of keeping your crews busy and all of that, but the reality is, like, it would take you 3 to 5 years of being absolutely profitable to make up for the losses that you've already incurred. You got to shut down. Like, you got to shut down like this week. And so that's what we did. We shut down. It was probably one of the most traumatic things, other than nearly losing the life of my daughter. It was one of the most traumatic things I've ever experienced. Not only did I have to shut down the company, but to protect myself, I had to file for bankruptcy. And in doing so, when we were going through the process of filing for bankruptcy, we also tried to do a short sale of our house, right? So the one thing led to another. The short sale negotiator was not actually negotiating, and then ultimately it came to foreclosure. I won't mention Todd's name, but there's a realtor in this room who actually foreclosed on my house. It was fucking humiliating. It was humiliating, right? And I was so broke that I actually took the appliances out of the house and sold the appliances so we could afford to move into and rent the next place that we moved to. It's fucking humiliating, right? So I want to share with you guys, I went from $3 million in debt in 2009. Fast forward to 2022, I have a net worth of about $10 million. From this shit right here. Because the greatest gift happened to me when I got into real estate. I thought it was going to be easy. And I had the pain of that humiliating experience. By the way, I worked in the same office as Todd. Imagine what that's like, walking into the office every day, trying to put my big boy pants on, and the guy that foreclosed on my house, right? It's nothing, Todd had the relationship with the banks, right? Remember that time? It was humiliating to walk into the office every single day. What was even more humiliating is I really thought that I was going to be the guy that did 30 transactions in my first year, right? Because, remember what my mindset was? Real estate is easy. And if they could, boy, was that humbling, right? And if these guys could do it, I could do it. And I thought I would do 30 transactions my first year. And let me tell you something. There ain't a motherfucker that's going to work harder than me. Period. And I did. I worked from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day. Took Sundays off, but every single day. 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Because it was burn the boats for me, but not because it was a decision about burning the boats because there's no other option. There literally was no other option, right? And it was the greatest gift because although I wanted to do 30, I did 9. Now, statistically, that's 300% better than the typical realtor's experience in their first year. But I looked at that gap and went, something's missing because I'm working my ass off. Something is missing because I'm seeing people, thanks Todd, I'm seeing people that are working a third less of the effort that I am, and they're doing triple the results. Like, what is happening? And I was very fortunate because my mentor at the time, one, I was very fortunate, I was very lucky to actually have a mentor within that organization. And my mentor at the time said, it's not about work ethic, it's about mindset. What you need to be investing in right now, is your personal development and your professional development. But like 90-10. Personal development and your professional development, okay? The reason that I went from being $3 million in debt to becoming a multimillionaire is to date, I've spent over $1 million on my personal development. Over $1 million. I spend about $100,000 a year to attend personal development events, leadership development events, coaching events. I'm actually